Minglava, welcome to MITV special program Perspectives. For this show, we have invited Sia Uechen, who is the Counselor of Myanmar Press Council and the Chairman of E-Commerce Association of Myanmar and the Deputy Chairman of Myanmar Digital Economy Association of UMFCCI. Sia Uechen is also worked for the United Kingdom and the Singapore in the banking and financial sector for more than 15 years. Thank you very much for joining us in this show.
All right.
So for today, we are going to discuss about the bad online shopping practices. Actually, online shopping is very convenient. It saves time and we don't need to carry so many purchase items. For me, I prefer doing online shopping. But however, there are many disadvantages, I agree that. So please explain about the status of online businesses.
Wow, in the, if you look, we start with the global first. Yeah, in the globally, there are big online companies like Amazon, and then the US side in the China is Alibaba, right? In the Southeast Asia itself, we have the Shop, we have the Lazada, we have the Shopee, right? So that type of big online, we have Carousel in Singapore, we have the Gojek, previously Gojek, that type of Indonesia entities. Yeah, right now, when during the COVID time, people have to do online activities a lot. So after COVID, people no longer have the affinity for online shops, right? They want to do, physical. They want to go out because they've been hiding at home during the COVID for a couple of years. So they want to go out. So online businesses are, in essence, a little bit going down. So they're going down in that sense. Plus, the tech sector in general is in a downtrend because of the retrenchment and all this thing. Yeah, so online shopping business are a little bit down compared to the COVID and pre-COVID levels. And there is no investor appetite to spend, without limits. The online shop, they spend a lot because they got to spend to capture the market. But there is no appetite to spend that much money anymore. So online shopping platforms, they are a little bit strapped for cash as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you talk about local, just now was the global. When you talk about local online shops, we face a double whammy, compared to the international, not just COVID. COVID time will still do well, but when the government change over, because a lot of activities, a lot of terrorist activity, a lot of social punishment, all these happen through online. So a lot of people dare not appear online and do the business. So we are affected by, when it's a drop in online activities after COVID, plus the online terrorism attacks on the online businesses. So we face double whammy. So that's why our online shops also, we drop a lot.
Okay. So before the time of COVID, is there any worries for these businesses?
Yeah, before the time of the COVID, pre-COVID times, the main worry internationally across the globe, there was a worry for the big data transfer, one-sided data transfer from the country that do business to the countries that own the platforms. Yeah, for example, right? If during that time, also Myanmar, the concern of Myanmar is transfer of the data of the big data. Big data. First of all, you need to understand the meaning of big data. Big data doesn't refers to your ID number or your date of birth or your bank information. That's not big data. Big data is referring to the consumer data where you can predict consumer behavior. So if you are big online entities like Shop or Alibaba or Lazada or even in locally Agio 47, right? So you have a lot of consumer data. So because they sell, let's say even if they sell umbrellas, they know what colors of umbrellas that consumer like. That information nobody else have, right? Even if they sell the raincoat, the raincoats you come in different color, right? Black, green, blue, white, whatever. So from their purchase data, from the consumer purchase, they can tell what color of the raincoats and what color of the umbrellas that Myanmar consumers like. So if that information were to be transmitted back to, for example, Chinese manufacturers, these Chinese manufacturers will only produce the type of colors that Myanmar consumer want. So then what will happen is that Myanmar manufacturers will not be able to compete with them because Myanmar manufacturers do not have that info of the colors that Myanmar consumers want. So eventually Myanmar companies will lose out. So that was a concern. Now that concern is, not that concern is not just restricted to the online platforms anyway. Even for example, like Facebook. Facebook have a lot of data about Myanmar consumer, what type of website, what type of sites, what type of information they like to see, right? That information only Facebook have. Even the governments do not have that. Yeah, so that is a one-sided ownership of the big data, where the data come from Myanmar, but the people using and making money out of this data is not Myanmar, it's the foreign platform. So that was our main concern. That concern is not just in Facebook or shopping platform, but also in the back end services being provided to the banks. For example, certain banks, core banking facilities provided by a foreign entity. So we are not exactly so sure if that information, the bank consumer spending information, spending patterns are not being transmitted to the other countries outside of Myanmar. Yeah.
Okay, so what about the global trends of online shopping?
Okay, before we talk about the global trends, right? The concerns, that was a concern then, the big data. Right now, the concern after the COVID, the main concern is at least for Myanmar, is the growth of the digital economy and the frauds happening in the online sector. That is the current concern. Because, digital economy and cyberspace, there is very little cyber governance here that, it's very difficult to grow in the cyber sector and digital economy sector. Why? Because once you grow, there is a chance that these cyber terrorist activities will happen. People will attack your business in the cyberspace. That will bring your business down. So with that type of possibility, how can you ever grow? How can you ever grow your digital economy without having a proper governance of that digital economy? No way. So then the other one is also the fraud. More fraudulent activities happening online. So there is also another concern of the government right now, because the big guys in the e-commerce and the online shopping world, they got attacked. So they are not that visible anymore. So without the big giants to lead this industry, the small guys, a lot of hit and run online shops appear. Because there is no big guys to say that, the big guys is doing this way. So they don't have any good example to follow anymore. So they are just doing their own way, and that their own way is very damaging for the consumers. So that is a current concern. At the same time, just now you're talking about global trend. Global trend online shops, a lot of things they are doing, they're using the AI. Because of the AI, there are lots of retrenchments happening in the online world as well, online shops and online platforms as well. And so in general, the platforms are down. And the retrenchment also, a lot of retrenchment also happening of the staff. A lot of people losing jobs in that sector also.
So what are the current specific non-optimal practices in e-commerce scenes?
In terms of the local e-commerce scene, you're right. So not optimal, right? The one that not recommended, and all the big players, they will not do that. Is the first thing is, every time they're trying to sell something on the Facebook, they ask you to come to the chat box. That is really bad. That makes the Myanmar, the whole cyber community, very inefficient. When other countries not doing that, they just waste everybody's time. You have to ask, I have to ask, he has to ask, right? And it just wasted everybody's time. And there's an opportunity for fraud, right? Because the price is not transparent.
Yes.
Yeah, so they can cheat, people. That's the first thing. And the other one is, the other one that I want to mention is fake goods. Fake mean not the genuine items. It happened to all the branded items, right? Even if the Adidas shoes or, even if the cosmetics. If it is a fake, in the developing countries, in developing countries like Myanmar or be it Cambodia or Laos or whatever, there will always be fake products being on sale. Yeah, at the same time, you got to state that it's not a genuine item, right? You cannot sell a fake Adidas shoes as if it's a genuine item at a price close to the real
Yeah.
item price. Let's say real Adidas shoe costs like 3 lakhs. You cannot sell a fake shoes at like 2.5 lakhs as if you are discounting the genuine item. So a lot of these fraudulent activities where people sell the fake goods as if present the fake goods as if they are real genuine items is on a rising trend. Yeah, so that's the cheating people. For the people who are consumers who are naive, right? They got cheated. So that's the second thing that should not happen. And the other one that consumer has to be aware is the live sales. In the live sales, that yes, you're buying, especially jewelry live sales, they say, so many people are buying. It's not. They are not really buying. It's maybe their relatives or their friends who pretend to buy. So you forcing you to follow that momentum. You ended up buying at an overpriced item, which is trying to trick you, trying to trick your psychology. Because when everybody is buying, you thought that if you don't buy, you will lose out. So that is also no good, suboptimal, non-optimal practices. And the other one is, a lot of activities going on is, since last time, is advance fees fraud, where they ask you to pay first, then they never deliver. When they deliver a substandard item, or not the items that you wanted. That type of thing. So and the other one is overpricing. Overpricing because a lot of items that's being sold online, they are not common items. And plus, and the other thing that not welcoming trends in this online shop is a lot of illegal goods. For example, lotteries from overseas, right? Like Thai lotteries or Singapore lotteries, you cannot sell it. Here, it's illegal. And worse, last time they used to even use fake currencies, fake Myanmar kyats. Right, fake notes. Of course, that ring has been captured by the police. Good job, the police. And plus, a lot of encouraging gambling. There is also bad activities, bad online activities. Gambling, that's illegal. Plus the last one is a donation gimmicks. Whenever there is an activity or there is something wrong with the country or there is some natural disasters like Cyclone Mocha, people will set up, for a Facebook page for online donation. Please do not donate because that is, these people are not accountable people. Because they are not accountable. They are not registered company or registered charities with the government. So the people have to be aware of that.
So what could be the reasons of all these?
Well, the reason is simple, it's greed. People are greedy, they want the easy money, right? They want to commit fraud. Why they want to commit fraud? Because last time they do something illegal, they don't get caught. Right? So a lot of people enjoy this hit and run. Right? They advertise, they hit and run. They advertise, then the people give them in advance. They shut off the phone. Right? So it's pretty bad. So, but the government initiative to match the phone with the ID and the phones with the KP accounts and phone with the bank accounts is a very good step in the right direction to reduce these fraudulent activities, especially the advanced payment frauds.
So is there anything we can prevent from these kind of things from happening?
Well, the first important is that consumer education, right? Our association and some other association also do that, right? So consumer education important. Consumer need to be aware because there's a saying, there's a proverb, buyer beware, right? The fault is on the buyer to do the research before you pay money. Whether that buyer, that online shop is legitimate, has they exist for long, right? So otherwise, if they hit and run, you pay money, they will disappear. So that's something that you got to watch out for. There's a consumer education. The next one is what the government can do is the law enforcement, right? If these fraudulent people who commit fraud, if they don't get caught, they will commit fraud again. They will even commit bigger fraud, right? So law enforcement have to be tough and it has to be quick. And these people have to be put in jail for a very, very long time, because if not, they will commit these crimes again and again. And the last one is the cyber governance. Cyber governance is always, of course, close to law enforcement. Law enforcement refers to punishment and the judicial system and the judges, right, and the police. Cyber governance is how the government will govern this cyberspace, so that just now when I talk about this phone numbers and the KPay and plus the cyber accounts matching is very important. It's the right step being done by the government, right? And then so that's part of the cyber governance. Without control of the cyberspace properly by the government, the digital economy will never get developed.
So among these challenges, what will be the future of e-commerce?
Yeah, e-commerce. Yeah, the future e-commerce. Yeah, that's why we have to adopt. We have to take a lead from this. The way that China managed the development and governance must go hand in hand. You develop the sector for the e-commerce digital economy. The governance, how the government govern that sector, also must be developed. You cannot just development and no government, no governance, right? That has to go hand in hand. You want to develop the e-commerce sector, digital economy sector? Yes, there must be a government control as well. Yeah, without that, the country will fall. The country will fail. Yeah, and plus, the people also realize that politics and business have to be separated. Yeah, so that's one thing that we have to worry. And also we have to realize that in the e-commerce and digital world, we have to support our own brands and our own local industry as well. If not, our companies will never get bigger. Without having big companies of Myanmar, we cannot compete internationally in the neighborhood.
Well, thank you very much for your information. It's very knowledgeable.
All right, thank you very much indeed.
You have been watching MITV special program Perspectives. Thanks for being with us.